Hey everyone, it's Damnation. I'm back. It's been a while. I know I fail at doing YouTube, but been extremely busy. Life more important than making videos here and there. Anyways, moving along. Today I'm going to talk to you about Mordheim. What is Mordheim? Mordheim is a skirmish-based game that Games Workshop came out in 2003, I believe, the early 2000s. I believe, in my opinion, it's one of the best skirmish games Games Workshop ever came out with. There was other things, we're going to talk about Mordheim today. So, it's a skirmish game based on Warhammer Fantasy. There's factions in there, undead, so we'll get to that. All right, so what is Mordheim? So Mordheim was a city in the Empire, and a meteor, a twin-tailed comet, as you can see here, called I can't remember the comet. A twin-tailed comet basically crashed into the city, basically put a big crater in it. And the twin comet was basically made of warp stone. If you don't know what warp stone is, it's basically a magic stone that is used by basically everybody, but the ones who made warp stone famous are the Skaven. They use it for money, currency, the currency exchange. They exchange it for goods and services down in the Underhive. They make crazy experiments. They create rat ogres. They use it for ammunition and the Giselle teams and their Rattling cannons. They use it. They eat it too, which is crazy because it's like a radiation basically. But in Mordheim they call it weird stone. I don't like calling it weird stone. Call me weird. But so after this twin tail comet, they basically everybody basically went on in search for this warp stone, because like I said, everybody uses it. Necromancers use it. I don't know what they use it for. Probably to use it to raise the dead. Empire uses it. Their mages use it for alchemy and all this stuff and all that goodness. But the city is, because it was basically a big radiation comet, weird warp stone. Warp stone, like I said, is used as a mutagenic. It's used to make mutants. The Skaven use it. Clan Skyer uses it in their machinery. I forgot the clan. I'm a huge Skaven player. I play, and I should know this. Anyway, so everybody uses it. Comet of Sigmar, the twin-tailed comet of Sigmar. That's what it is. So, you got like bounty hunters going in there. It's basically a city with no laws. Mutants running around and all this craziness and demons, and yeah, it's a pretty crazy city. It is basically a two-player game. You've probably seen me play it against Chad and his wife. I'm bad doing this at the seat of my pants. I didn't really write anything down. But Chad from Arctic Cord Gaming, and I played against them a few times and stuff like that. And we usually have a campaign twice a year. We keep our rosters that we have and our warbands. But yeah, it's just one fun, crazy game. So like the factions, let me get to that. Sorry, it's all the rules and stuff like that. So there's factions of there's humans, undead, chaos, Skaven, the main ones there. Where is it? Sorry. Okay, so the war bands are the Cult of Possessed, which is your Chaos war band. They're basically, mutants, and you give them claws and, stuff like that. The next one is the Undead, which is like your Necromancer. You bring zombies out and all this stuff. And Witch Hunters, which are humans. They hunt witches. Yeah, and then you got the Mordheimers, the Reichlanders, and Nurembergs. They're, the Maidenheimers, the Reichlanders, and the Nurembergs. The Nurembergs are basically 3 cities in the Empire. Also, we got Sisters of Sigmar, which are nuns with hammers and whips, and basically nuns in armor. They're like warrior priests for like the Empire. They do all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the Skaven. Reading the Skaven stuff, Mordheim is basically the main Skaven. We'll get to that, but yeah, Skaven. Okay. So basically, the mercenaries, that's the Maidenhammers, Nurembergs, and stuff like that, and the Reichlanders, and their different Empire cities. They basically form groups. They go in. They try to get the warp stone and bring it to the Empire of their different cities and stuff like that. And so also what they have is a thing called the Town Crier. Town Criers have different factions and stuff like that. And also there's Lizardmen, Bretonnians, Amazons, orcs and goblins, dwarf pirates. Yeah, so there's dwarves and dwarf pirates. There's like a vampire thing. Just different factions. You can find them in town criers like this, and in I don't have it. There's also a pit fighter. Basically, pit fighters are like gladiators. If you watch Conan the Barbarian, he is a pit fighter in the beginning of the movie, and he gets released and stuff like that. So there are the other human Empire faction is the Keslav, the guys from the frozen north area of Mordheim. But yeah, there's like 2 different dwarf factions, and there's and these town criers also give like special units. Like for Skaven, they have the clan Scryer Grad Ogre, which is like which uses the model from Thanquol and the Bone Ripper model, the metal one, which I have because, like I said, I'm a Skaven player, so I have all their things. But that is the humans, basically, the mercenaries. It's just basically humans. They go in there, they try to get gold, they try to do all that stuff, kill other warbands. So yeah. And then the Cult of Possessed, like I said, they're chaos oriented. They go in there to do chaos things, They don't actually have... Oh, there's also Beastmen. That's another faction in Mordheim. It's Beastmen. There's also Wood Elves and stuff like that, and High Elves. And it's actually it basically covers all of the factions of Warhammer Fantasy, but you don't get the big gases. Like I said, it's skirmish. The game is basically 20 guys. That's the max I've seen. But yeah, like I said, the Cult of Possessed, they're basically chaos cultists doing chaos things. Whatever cultists do, they make demons and all that good stuff. Yeah, you get mutations, and you get claws and tentacles and stuff. So then you got the witch hunters. They use like Rottweilers, and that's called the Templars of Sigmar. Witch hunters, they basically go in. They're basically like the Inquisition for 40k. That's basically what they kind of are. They, you know, they do all that good stuff and go in there and basically try to kill everything. You know, they kill witches, warlocks, fortune tellers. They kill anybody. Like that's what witch hunters. But yeah, they're just another human faction that basically goes in there and, you know, tries to kill things. They're, you know, if you're played an Empire army, you get the flagellants, those crazy fanatical guys with the big spinny things. That's basically what you know. You got the zealots, the warrior priests, the stuff like that. And you got warhounds, which are, you know, dogs, rottweilers, stuff like that. So then you got the Sisters of Sigmar. Like I said, the Sisters of Sigmar are basically warrior nuns. They're nuns with hammers, and basically they can use whatever, you know. It's like the Sisters of Battle for whatever, or for 40k. Warrior nuns basically is what they are. They have a cathedral in Mordheim. Basically, so it's, yeah, you look them up and stuff like that. But yeah, that they're basically warrior nuns. They protect the innocent people of Mordheim. They, you know, they take care of wounded and, you know, sick, and they basically do the nun thing, and, you know, and they go out and fight and whatnot. Then we go on to the undead. So basically the undead are like vampires, necromancers. You get the idea. You know, zombies, ghouls, direwolves, dregs. Like I said, it's basically your undead army. But you know, they have vampire. There is a vampire specific warband in, not the Town Crier, in a different book. I don't know where it is. Otherwise I would have had it. But yeah, there's a vampire thing for this game. There's also one other thing that I should mention. There's also hired thugs, hired goons. Like I said, for the Skaven, you can hire Clan Scryer, Rat Ogre. You know, you can hire pit fighters, you can hire ogres, and you can do all sorts of stuff. But okay, then we come to my favorite faction, Skaven. Like I said, basically, Mordheim is Clan Eshen's stronghold. That's where they get Warpstone from. They get it from, you know, all of the other places, because they're basically hired assassins and stuff like that. So they do a lot of things for Warpstone, and that makes them one of the richest in the game, or in the lore-wise, fantasy, you know, Warhammer fantasy-wise. Not Age of Sigmar, because Age of Sigmar is, but yeah, basically, it's like their town, man. You know, if you see me play it, we play it on a big table. I play Clan, basically Skaven, and, you know, so, but yeah, there's also Clan Pestilence is in Mordheim. They came out around the same time the Lizardmen came out, so, you know, that kind of ties it all together. Like I said, there's also dwarves and stuff like that in the game. But yeah, so like I said, basically it's a skirmish game. I have 2 videos that I played against the guys there, chatting them from Arctic Horde. And yeah, like, it's, like I said, one of the best skirmish games that's ever created. Yeah, so let's see here if I can find some good pictures here. Yeah, so you see, like, you got Sisters of Sigmar. Like I said, warrior nuns. Yeah, like it says converting, stuff like that. The one thing I wish they had in here was like, you know, here's the background. You basically fight in the city of Mordheim. I mean, you basically do. Like I said, there's other books, Tongue Criers, where you fight on the outskirts of Mordheim too. But yeah, it's just, you know. Oh, here's the. And each of these factions too had their own models. So like the Mirenbergs had like a box set for Mirenbergers. The Raglanders had their own box set. The Mordheims had their own box set. So their own warband box set. So like, I don't know if it's coming up all that great, but yeah, it's. This book is my original book from 03, and it's still in great condition, and yeah, it is by far one of my most prized possessions of my gaming collection, because like I said, this is my favorite game. Like Skaven, basically the Skaven used the Night Runners box set, the Night Runners, and there were the tunnel guys. They would dig tunnels and pop up. I can't remember. Yeah, like I said, I got a ton of buildings that I play more than I basically have an 8x12. I have an 8x4 table worth of terrain to play. So, you know, and then so you move on, and you know, they got campaigns where you can play different scenarios. Like I said, we do a campaign every 2 years or twice a year, once in the spring, once in the summer. I mean, not this year, maybe hopefully this winter coming up we'll get going here again, hoping. But yeah, then, you know, stuff like injuries can happen to your heroes and stuff like that. So like, you know, you can lose an arm, you can lose an eye, you can get shot in the foot, you have to hobble and you lose points, you can get captured. That, you know, the player you're playing against basically captures your hero or a hero, and you can ransom them back, or you know, you can try to buy them back, or you can, you know, it's stuff like that. Or you get sold to the pits where you have to fight the pit fighter. It's a decent way to make gold crowns. That's the currency is gold crowns in this game to buy things. You don't use warpstone but yeah, you can get sold to the pits, you know, fight pit fighters. You can, you know, there's bitter enemies. You can basically, you know, if your opponent has a person on there, you can basically hate them, and you get bonuses to fight them. So, you know, there's a lot of good stuff on here. It's, you know, there's like, you know, you can get upgrades and all this stuff, and yeah, you can get skills. You know, like if you want say my Skaven can't shoot a rifle, well, I can, you know, get the skill to use weapons expert to use, you know, rifles and stuff like that. It's actually pretty fun. You can do, you know, and you got your scenarios, you know, you get your different scenarios and stuff like that. And yeah, it's basically, you know, you got find treasure, you got hold buildings, you got occupy buildings, you got surprise attack, where, you know, you just basically jump a unit or jump a guy, and then you can, you know, then you got your income, where you try to get gold crowns. You can explore, you can find different things, you can find slaves and sell them off, and you know, all that good stuff. And you can roll to try to find rare items, and you know, then you got hired swords, which I said is like mercenaries. You can hire like ogres and pit fighters and all this good stuff. But yeah, that's Mordheim. I hope you could follow along. I mean, I was talking kind of fast through it. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to play Mordheim, I highly suggest you get a chance to play it. Like I said, it's one of the best skirmish games Games Workshop has come out. I wish Necromunda Underhive was as good as this game, because I think it would have stayed a lot longer. I mean, Necromunda Underhive was a fun game. It's just didn't compare to Mordheim as far as skirmish games goes when it came to, you know, 40k and Warhammer Fantasy. It's just, but yeah, that's been my video about Mordheim. Like I said, it's a great game. I have 2 videos down in my video history there. Take a look at them, watch them, and yeah, this has been Damnation, and I hope you liked the video. And I know it's been a long time, but thanks for watching.